Mayor Parton,
Here.
Counselor Ellis,
Here.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Here.
Counselor Harris, Counselor Day,
Here.
Counselor Stokes,
Here.
Counselor Holloway.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Let's see. First thing is, do we have a motion to allow Counselor Holloway to participate remotely?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Motion's been made by Vice Mayor Joyner and seconded by Counselor Stokes. Is there any discussion? Counselor Holloway, for the record, can you state where you're conducting the meeting from and the reason you're asking to participate remotely?
Yes, from my residence and medical.
Okay. All right. Any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Counselor Harris, Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Ellis,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yeah.
Counselor Stokes,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. At this time, is there a motion to go into closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A7, consultation with legal counsel
Hold on.
and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation where such consultation or briefing in an open meeting would adversely affect the negotiating or litigating posture of the public body, and 2.2-3711A1, discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, followed by an open session to discuss the repeal of the recently adopted conflict of interest policy, and to the extent such discussion will be aided thereby.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Okay? Let's see. I'll give that one to Counselor Day, and then the second to Counselor Holloway. Any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Ellis,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yes.
Counselor Stokes, Counselor Stokes,
Hold on, I'm reading something. I'm reading the second part. Hold on.
I gotta have it say like
Yes.
Counselor Holloway,
Such discussion. I should discuss this.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay?
Okay.
I'll second it. Is there any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Counselor Harris,
What coming out close?
Coming out of closed session.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Ellis,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yes.
Counselor Stokes,
Yes.
Counselor Holloway,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay. Our first item that we have to do is action coming out of closed session. Do I have a motion to end all legal action, injunctions, appeals, demurs to Ronnie Ellis?
Second.
All right, motion's been made by Counselor Day, seconded by Vice Mayor Joyner. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Counselor Holloway and then Counselor Stokes.
Yes, I'd like to publicly commit to the constituents tonight that we are in the middle of court litigation in which the city has been brought a filing of suit by now Councilor Ronnie Ellis in regards to conflict of interest matters, and select members of council, which enjoined by the majority tonight, had agreed to stop all litigations. I am not in favor of stopping these litigations because there's so much conflict of interest. According to things that were stated, all of the counselors believe that having an employee from the city, all 7 counselors believe that having an employee from the city directly causes conflict of interest and could be quite problematic having employees from the city, but some particular counselors, even though they think that this is a conflict, truly believe in the right to privilege for this particular counselor to go forward to grandfather him in, even against our city's ordinance and aside of our city ordinance, state statutes. I think that it is quite improper because even with the ordinance out of the way, right now we have ordinance in place, and so there's legal matters that stopping the litigation, legal matters are still in place, that we still have a standing ordinance and we still have standing state law by the Commonwealth of Virginia that says that this is a provided conflict of interest, especially in the seat as an employee, to be basically a boss to his boss. I think it is such a conflicting thing. I will be going live tonight via social media and doing a press release to go into detail and release recordings from certain closed session meetings on tonight, previous closed session meetings, and also other recorded conversations concerning counselors via phone calls and in person. That is my statement. I digress.
Okay. Counselor Stokes?
This was a very, very difficult place to be in. A decision had to be made. But from my standpoint and from reviewing all that has been presented regarding this, nothing prevented Counselor Ellis from sitting as a counselor. So in making my decision, he is on council. He has every right to serve as a counselor. The issue now becomes his employment. And at that point, that's a separation of apples and oranges. It's an employment matter, and federal law, state law, local law allows an employer to hire and fire at will. And to take away that at will status from city government is unfair to the constituents, it's unfair to us. He's won his election, he's sitting on council, and now that decision regarding his employment has to be decided. Those are two separate issues, and to join them is mixing apples and oranges. So that's what my decision was based on.
Okay. Seeing no more lights. Roll call, please.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yes.
Counselor Stokes,
No.
Counselor Holloway,
Absolutely not.
Vice Mayor Joyner.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-2.
Okay. And for the record, Mr. Ellis has excused himself from this vote, and he also did not participate in any closed meeting discussion. Please make sure that that's annotated in the minutes. Okay. Moving on to special business, the repeal of the recently adopted conflict of interest policy. We received an AG's opinion on this policy. At this time, is there a motion to repeal the recently adopted conflict of interest policy?
Second.
All right. Motion's been made by Councilor Day and seconded by Vice Mayor Joyner. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Counselor Harris,
No.
I said yes, there was discussion.
Okay, we did not hear you.
His line's not here yet.
This question is a point of order to the city attorney. If this motion fails and it continues to be in place, then the ordinance is still in place, and in fact, are we violating any laws at that space?
I'm not quite sure I understand the question, but the ordinances, I'm sorry, not the ordinances, the state statutes form the basis for the policy that was adopted by resolution. And even if you don't have the policy, you still have to abide by the state statutes. And there's a whole litany of state statutes that apply to conflict of interest, and they're very complex. And an opinion of the Attorney General was sought with respect to this conflict of interest policy, and the city now is advised by the AG's office, that the Attorney General's office, that any questions about whether or not the conflict of interest policy is effective or applies to a particular individual is done on a case-by-case basis, and those questions should be put to the Commonwealth's attorney. So I suppose my opinion doesn't really matter, because it's the Commonwealth's attorney's opinion that supposedly forms the basis for decisions now.
If form the basis. Okay, so now every single time, for instance, if I have a thought of a basis of something that we're voting on, and I candor against it, then that has the vote or whatever has to then become mute and wait for the Commonwealth's opinion to come in at that point.
Well, yeah, you probably should get the Commonwealth attorney's opinion before the matter is put forward for a vote.
And that would then his opinion would then become public record, correct?
Yes.
All right. So if there's something out of line and we believe that it is against the law, then that is something that we take to the courthouse to file suit in those matters, if so ever we choose to do.
I would think that you would go to the Commonwealth Attorney's office first and ask the Commonwealth Attorney's office for an opinion as to whether or not the law has been broken. And the Commonwealth Attorney will advise you whether or not the law has been broken.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
I digress.
Okay. All right. Seeing no more discussion, roll call, please.
Counselor Harris,
No.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Ellis,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yes.
Counselor Stokes,
No.
Counselor Holloway,
And this is voting to repeal.
Correct.
Can you give me a count, Madam City Clerk?
3-2.
All right, and I do not wish to repeal.
Vice Mayor Joyner.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?